Hello viewers, welcome to Health Talk on VOS TV, where we get to talk about things concerning our health. I am Tonia Itemagbo, and today we shall be looking at infection. Dr. Nusa Eguma is on ground to enlighten us more about infection.
My name is Dr. Jolly Nusa Eguma. I'm the medical director of Jonas Medical Center. I'm a family health practitioner, and I am a Benin-based medical doctor. Today we are going to look at infection. Infection is the invasion of the human body with microorganisms. Over time, we get to understand the fact that infection causes varying number of diseases. Even before the coronavirus, statistics have shown that developing countries suffer more infection as compared to the developed country. That is to say that there are factors that are responsible for invasion of microbes, thereby resulting to what we call infection. Poverty is a factor. Illiteracy is also a thing to consider. If we talk about poverty, we have to talk about the socioeconomic status of the individual. In other words, we can say that infection tends to grow in a dirty environment. When you don't take care of your body, you live in a very dirty environment, you are, of course, inviting infection. 40% of the cause of death has been attributed to infectious cause. That is to say that infection is a thing that is preventable and also treatable. Just little lifestyle modification, you can be able to avoid and do away with infection. Infections are caused by infectious agents, and those infectious agents are usually living microorganisms, and they can be classified into parasitic protozoa, virus, bacteria, and emit. Even sometimes we also add fungi. So these are the infectious agents that are responsible for microorganisms. They find their way into the human body or into the living organism. When they find their way into the host, which is the human, they begin to cause infectious diseases. And it's this infectious disease that will now manifest symptoms that is capable of killing the host. Sometimes those infectious agents also require an agent in form of a vector to be able to link their host. Yes, if we consider people that are more prone to infection, we will say that both sexes are at risk. But if we look at the sexual transmitted infection, many a times, as I've just explained, persons look at infection to be sexually transmitted alone. When you say, oh, this person has an infection, we don't actually consider every other kind. malaria is an infection. Somebody that has tuberculosis is an infection. But when we use the word infection, it's like we just, restrict it to somebody that has sexual transmitted. But if we look at the sexual transmitted infection in particular, the women are more affected as compared to the male counterpart. But in every other part, depending on the risk, depending on the exposure, there are also kind of infection that may are affected more. But when you ask me in general to say in infection, who is more affected, I would say that equal sexes are affected. But with respect to sexual transmitted infection, females are affected most. And the reason why females are affected most is that if you look at the female genital organ, the surface area is opened, is more increased as compared to that of the male. So that makes the female to be more prone to sexual transmitted infection. For example, if a male has gonorrhea and a female has gonorrhea, the symptoms are more likely to be manifested in a male as compared to a female. The reason be that in a male, within a very short time, with an incubation period of 2 to 7 days in gonorrhea, what it means is that if somebody is exposed to gonorrhea, it takes a longest period of 7 days, a shortest period of 2 days for somebody to manifest the symptoms of this disease condition. That is, the gonorrhea got it from a sexual partner. So for a male might come down with painful urination or difficulty in passing urine, what we call dysuria, low abdominal pain. But a female, 80% might not even come down with any symptom. So in other words now, female might become what we call asymptomatic carrier. They will not manifest any symptom and still they are capable of transmitting this infection. So because of that, you can see that females tend to be affected most with respect to sexual transmitted infection because of the surface area, because of the increased surface area of the genital, of the genital area as compared to the male. But that is not to say that male cannot also be affected with an infection. If you look at most airborne diseases that are transmitted by infection, even males are affected most, for the reason that males are, they involve more in outdoor activity as compared to the female, who might be restricted to domestic activities, indoor activities, as the case may be. So males, for the fact that they are exposed to environmental hazards, they might come down with respiratory tract infection as compared to the female. So depending on the particular infection, that is what was okay. This group is affected, more as compared to the others. So infections are preventable diseases. Simple hand washing, ensuring that we live in a very clean environment, ensure that the environment is clean. For example, mosquito, as I've said earlier, is a vector that transmits malaria from one person to another through their bites. The female Anopheles mosquito, which is a nocturnal animal, they move at night and they have to survive by sucking human blood. And the process of sucking blood, they carry pathogen from one person to another, thereby spreading and increasing malaria. So the best way you can prevent infection caused by mosquito, which is the malaria, is to ensure that you live or you stay under what we call insecticide treated net. When you are adopting this, automatically you are preventing malaria. Ensure that your windows and your doors have nets. Ensure that your environment, the bushes there, are well cleared, because those bushes tend to serve as hidden places for those mosquitoes, and ensure that there's no stagnant water in your environment, because those stagnant water are the breeding sites. Even some other diseases like that is being transmitted by the housefly, for example, your diarrhea, your cholera, your dysentery, your plate, your waste disposal, ensure that your waste disposal are kept in a tight fitted container. When you spread and you keep your waste, indiscriminately without proper disposal, definitely you are inviting vector, which is disease carrying agent. Housefly tend to perch on those your dirt. They find their way into your food. Automatically you are already infected with these infectious agents that are capable of causing disease. So proper waste disposal, living in a clean environment, automatically you are preventing infection. And also, water has also been incriminated as one point with which we humans get infected. For example, when you ingest or you drink contaminated water, you can come down with diarrhea, you can come down with cholera, you can come down with dysentery. So if you know the water that you consume or you take daily is not potable and is not clean enough, ensure that your water is boiled. You can boil your water for 15-20 minutes, after which that has actually destroyed the pathogens in that water, and by so you can now drink such water after exposing it and allowing it to cool down. Doing those barrier methods as a way of protecting yourself, automatically you are preventing yourself from infection. So the best way to go is prevention rather than treatment, and if there's a need for you to see your doctor.
I believe we learned one or two things from what Dr. Nusa Iguma just said. And please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe to all our social media handles, which is VORS TV News. Thanks for watching.